Part 144. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 1432. The four of them, Zhang Chen, drove to the tropical botanical garden. At the preparation office, Jacques was very happy to see Lu Ligan coming. He held his hand and with a little force, Lu Ligan grinned. Dip na shi, dna shi, Jacques shouted. Zhang Chen and Meng Ping didn't know what he was calling. Lu Ligan knew that dip na shi means duck in French. Lu Ligan asked Zhang Chen, half an acre. Are there any ducks at Tien Hotel? Yes, 3 cups of duck, Zhang Chen said. Lu Ligan nodded to Jacques, and he said yes, we will go to Dida at noon. Are you ready? Jacques said, I have to work here in the afternoon. Not only are you a ding, very standard, but I have to work here in the afternoon. It was also a completely Hainanese way of saying it. Zhang Chen and the others laughed. Lu Ligan made an appointment with Jacques. When he took him to Didi for supper, Jacques smiled with satisfaction, stood up, took his bamboo hat, flicked it twice with his fingers, and put it on his head. And walked out. This foreigner is still here? Will their company lose money by doing this? Meng Ping asked Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan after Jacques left. Lu Ligan said that he had no money to lose. His expenses were very small. Apart from salary, there were no other expenses. Partia was responsible for food and accommodation. If the standard was high, he would not accept it. He would only do one project in 2 or 3 years. The design fee is enough for his salary for 20 years. I feel that he is a bit like a Puritan, Meng Ping said. Zhang Chen said, this is his way of life. He takes root in one place. We have all lived in Hainan, but I can guarantee that our integration into this island will not be as deep as his. Lu Ligan and Meng Ping nodded, feeling that Zhang Chen was right. Although they had lived on this island for several years, they had always been floating on this land. Feelings, so when leaving, there won't be so much pain. They felt that when Jacques left a project, it would definitely be very painful. Maybe it was this pain of separation that made him reluctant to leave. In the botanical garden, the road leading to the top of the mountain has been built, and the construction of the villa designed by Zhang Chen has also begun. They took a battery car to the top of the mountain, overlooking the valley below. Meng Ping sighed, from this point of view, Jacques, the effort is worth it. If I had his design ability, I would be reluctant to leave my own project. This is a man-made landscape. When looking at all this, I think Jacques will feel like God, Lu Ligan also said. When the Marine Life Museum on the sea is built, it will be even more beautiful, Zhang Chen told them. The frame of the villa on the top of the mountain has been removed. The 4 people went in and took a look. They could already feel the unique shape and exquisite design of the villa. Meng Ping said, it's settled, Zhang Chen, from now on I will come here to retire. Zhang Chen smiled and said, okay. I'm coming too, Lu Ligan said. You are forced to come here so that the 4 kingdoms can fight, the idiot scolded. You are still able to get up today, which is great. Lu Ligan laughed and said, we played mahjong all night last night. Who would believe it, unless you're really tied up down there, the second-hand guy said, and Zhang Chen and Meng Ping laughed. The 4 people stayed at the top of the mountain for more than an hour, and then went down the mountain. They did not see Jacques at the preparation area. The staff told them that Jacques had just had lunch and went to plant trees with the workers. A batch of new trees were planted today. Zhang Chen and the others smiled and became accustomed to this. Lu Ligan said, I can guarantee, Zhang Chen, that when you start building the Marine Life Museum, this Jacques will probably dive into the sea. What's so strange about this? Zhang Chen said, he originally came from the Royal Canadian Navy. It would be strange if he didn't dive into the sea. They returned to Ben Muishan Resort Hotel and found Lao Xie waiting for them in the lobby. Lu Ligan shouted, Lao Xie, you are a dog, are you so aware of our tracks? Lao Xie laughed and said, "You are all here, how could I not come?" Before setting off, Zhang Chen called Lao Xie. He was originally invited to attend the opening of the rooftop stall at Ban Mu Tian Hotel last night. Lao Xie was busy last night and could not come. He drove early this morning. Came to Sanya from Haikan. Zhang Chen asked Lao Xie if he had lunch, and Lao Xie said no, he was waiting for you. At almost 11 o'clock in the evening, Meng Ping, Lao Xie, and Er Huo went directly to Ban Mu Tian Hotel in a car. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan drove to the tropical botanical garden and picked up Jacques. Go to the hotel again. The three of them arrived upstairs and found that the place was already packed with people waiting for their meals at the entrance. Zhang Chen didn't believe it. When he saw Lu Hong coming over, he asked her, "Are you not inviting these tonight?" "No, Mr. Zhang, I came here all by myself," Lu Hong said excitedly. "Your friends are over there, I will take you there." Zhang Chen felt very pleased. According to this momentum, their rooftop food stall was finally started. The three people followed Lu Hong and walked over there. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan saw two of the four girls from last night sitting there with two men. Their eyes met and they looked at each other, but they pretended they didn't know each other, so Zhang Chen and the others walked over. As soon as they arrived, the food started to be served. 3 cups of duck were served. Lu Ligan and Jacques talked about dripping time, dripping time. Although this dripping time was different from the dripping time he imagined, Jacques still ate it. After eating it, he felt it was so delicious. Although the 3-cup duck was very spicy and made him slurp, his hands and mouth couldn't stop eating it. Halfway through the meal, the other 2 of the 4 girls from last night showed up. One of the girls pointed in the direction of the 2 girls and told them that they were detaining us and saying that some of the older brothers were here. "Here we come." Zhang Chen and Meng Ping secretly thought it was funny, and the idiot shouted, "Are you addicted to playing mahjong?" "What mahjong?" a girl asked. Zhang Chen and the others looked at Lu Ligan and laughed. Lu Ligan knew that he was being hunted. Just like the dripping in this plate, it was impossible to break free, so he asked them to sit down. The 2 girls, one left and one right, sat down next to Lu Li's pole. Zhang Chen and the 4 of them returned to Hangzhou from Sanya. The second-hand man drove back to Songjiang on the same day. Meng Ping stayed in Hangzhou for another 2 days. He and Lu Ligan quietly went to splendid Jiangnan with Lao Ni and Chen Yakin, and the others had a meeting together. Lao Ni is now very famous in the futures market. He is the famous King Ni. Lu Ligan and Meng Ping are the invisible kings hiding behind the king. Lao Ni now doesn't even do external trading anymore. He has withdrawn all his funds and specializes in internal trading. He and Lu Ligan and Meng Ping said that the external trading is too big and difficult to control, and it is easier to do internal trading. After Lao Ni's external funds were withdrawn, the shares of the 3 of them were readjusted. Now Lao Ni holds 50%, Lu Ligan and Meng Ping each hold 25%. They also each contributed to this account, with an investment of 1.5 billion. It doesn't matter to Meng Ping, no one cares about the flow of his funds. Lu Li's 1.5 billion was discovered by Tan Shahen when he was moving. Tan Shahen asked him, and Lu Ligan told her vaguely that he was lending it to his old man. Anyway, he is very similar to someone who would do this, and Tan Shahen was too embarrassed to ask more questions. The borrowed funds were taken from the account of Zhejiang Jinxiu Real Estate Co., Limited, not from the account of Jinxiu China Holdings Group, which will be listed in Hong Kong. The predecessor of Zhejiang Jinxiu Real Estate Co., Limited is Song Chunming's company. It was retained at the suggestion of Lao Chiao. It is said that it was established to facilitate the settlement of accounts by listed companies in the future, and it is not affiliated with Splendid China Holdings Group. It was at this meeting that Lao Ni told Meng Ping and Lu Ligan that Zhengzhou Commercial Exchange PTA was going to be listed. He felt that their main financial resources in the future should be placed on PTA. This is the main raw material my factory needs to make polyester yarn. We are not afraid of spot delivery, said Lao Ni, Meng Ping, and Lu Ligan. Although Meng Ping and Lu Ligan have been doing futures for several years, they left it to Lao Ni and Chen Yakin to take care of it. They themselves participated very little. When Lao Ni said that PTA could be done, they believed that it could be done. Who asks someone to be King Ni? Besides, the 1.5 billion capital was originally intended to test the waters. Even if they lose all, it will not hurt their muscles and bones. What's more, they are still making profits. Chen Yakin also agreed with Lao Ni's judgment. She told Meng Ping and Lu Ligan that when PTA first started, the market would not be very big. With the amount of funds we had, we could completely control the market. However, we should not do it. If it is too obvious, it scares people away from coming in, and the breed becomes stinky. Meng Ping smiled and said, both I and Zhuangzi don't understand this anyway. You must be saying that if you need us to pay, we will pay, and if we need to contribute, we will contribute. Lao Ni scolded, Lao Meng, do you want to be a hands-off shopkeeper? Isn't it bad? Meng Ping asked back, one mountain can't accommodate two tigers, and one market can't accommodate two kings. We only need one king like you, and we don't need so many. Lao Ni chuckled. Meng Ping returned to Nanjing, and Lu Ligan, Tan Shuhen, and Lao Tan went to Hong Kong to prepare for the listing of Splendid China Holdings Group Co., Limited on the Hong Kong main board. On August 23, 2006, news came from the Hong Kong Stock Exchange that Splendid China Holdings Group Co., Limited was successfully listed and became the first real estate company in Zhejiang province to be listed on the Hong Kong main board, raising 125 million yuan. Billion Hong Kong dollars. While newspapers and media are reporting endlessly on Splendid China's listing in Hong Kong, Splendid China Holdings Group Co., Limited's major project in Hangzhou, Dragon Family also has its grand opening. This is a risky move that will affect the entire real estate market. Bucking the trend in a downturn. Tan Shuhen and Lao Tan were both sweating. Thank you to the chair in the world, the Dal Tin Soldier, reading the book every day, ranking third from top to bottom, and the reward of 2 fishes at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you for your monthly votes for chairs in the world, Frivolous, Fantasy in the Wind, Humorous Tribe, Dowdu, and Ho Leixin. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1433. When Lu Ligan and his dragon family were launched, the larger properties in Qianzhong New City, Hangshi Qiantang, were more than 13,000 square meters each, and the nearby Jinjizilu and Songdu International were both more than 9,000 square meters. 1 square meter, even for Lu Ligan and his own properties that have been launched, is about 10,000 per square meter. Lu Ligan set the opening price of Dragon Family at 28,000 per square meter. Although it is a fully decorated existing house, it is more than double the price of other properties, which still scares people. Suddenly, everyone thought Zhejiang Jinxia was crazy and Lu Ligan was crazy. But it is this crazy price, coupled with the successful listing of Splendid China Holdings Group in Hong Kong, that attracts many people to come and watch. Everyone wants to see where the 28,000 yuan fine decoration in Qianzhong New City is. Why do they dare to offer such a price? On the opening day of Dragon Family, the entire project was packed with people. Su Wenhui's junior sister, Lu Ligan, and Tan Shuhen said, Mr. Lu, Mr. Tan, this is the launch of your project. It is completely an annual meeting of entrepreneurs in Hangzhou. I walked around in front and met many well-known companies in Hangzhou at home, Zone Qinglei, the boss of Wahaha, Feng Zhenzheng, the boss of King Chunbao, and Zhong Sushui, the boss of Nongfu Spring, also came. I saw them all and said hello to them. Lu Ligan laughed and said, this is exactly the effect I want. On the first day of sales, Zhang Chen came to buy a set for Xiaoshu. Lu Ligan wanted to give him a discount. Zhang Chen scolded him, "The discount will be the original price to increase your popularity." Tan Shahan said, "Yao Fen is an employee of our company. Of course, their wedding room will enjoy the internal price." Zhang Chen, please stop being meddlesome. Not Xiaoshu, other people in the company also enjoy such treatment. Lao Tan smiled and said, "It's probably just this one person apart from others. I can't afford such an expensive house." Lao Ni also went to the sales department and bought a set. He asked Lu Ligan to give him a discount. Lu Ligan scolded, "Who is so valuable and wants you, Lao Ni, to spend so much money?" Lao Ni said, "It's really not the case this time. I bought it for my old lady at home. After buying it, I moved them from Qiqiao to Hangcheng. As they get older, it's more convenient to live in the city. For medical treatment, hospitalization or whatever is better than that little place in Qiqiao." "You still have a conscience," Lu Ligan said, and he readily gave Lao Ni a discount. Not only did Lao Ni buy a house in the Dragon family, but many bosses in Qiqiao also bought houses here. Lao Ni and Lu Ligan said that almost all of our well-known enterprises in Shaoxing have come, Lu Li said. Gang Gang laughed. With well-known companies in Hangzhou and Shaoxing as background, what else did he have to worry about? Zheng Huiyang also came to see Lu Ligan, but she was not buying a house for herself, but for Teacher Ma. She said that Teacher Ma had already seen the model building and liked it very much. Lu Ligan said, "Let me go, Zheng Huiyang, you are in the internet business, how easy is it to make money now? In just a few years, your Teacher Ma can buy such a high-end house? To be honest, I can't bear to buy it myself." "Then it's not that you can't afford it, but that you're stingy. You're making trouble with yourself." Zheng Huiyang choked him, and Lu Ligan laughed. He said, "You are the one who is messing with Teacher Ma after all. Zheng Huiyang, your tone of voice is different now, but it is also true that your family will soon have 2 shareholders of a listed company. You really should be confident. Zheng Huiyang and his company are also preparing to be listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. The timetable has been set, 1 year later than Lu Ligan, and will be scheduled for November next year. As soon as their company is listed, Zheng Huiyang and the most primitive employees will become multimillionaires in an instant. Lao Wan is now the original shareholder of Splendid China and is worth tens of millions." Zheng Huiyang smiled and stopped talking. The house price of Dragon family sounds scary, but those who actually came to the site and saw their model building felt that this house was still worth the price. Many people placed orders on the spot, and they were mainly for self-occupation. These wealthy bosses, after looking at the houses here, felt that the place they lived in before was like a slum, so they chose to make their new homes here. The opening of Dragon family was a great success. On the first day, more than 140 houses were sold, and sales of 1.1 billion were achieved. It became the sales champion on Hangzhou's transparent house sales website. This single-day record stood for a long time. In just over a week, all the houses in the Dragon family were sold out. Lu Ligan and his sales director told Lu Ligan and Tan Shahan that they were really happy. They hadn't sold a house so happily in a long time. With this project, they created a sales myth with a total sales of 4.5 billion. This myth was not broken until a few years later, when housing prices in Hangzhou soared, by China Resources Mixc. Suddenly, the opening of Dragon family formed a Dragon family phenomenon in Hangzhou, and also left a bright spot for the entire bleak real estate market in Hangzhou in 2006. The funds raised from the listing, coupled with the sales revenue of Dragon family, made Lu Ligan feel that he was wealthy and could finally scorn any real estate company in the country. At the end of the year, they began to acquire large amounts of land across the country. Tan Shahan also calculated that no matter how the real estate market has gone up and down over the years, One thing is that the price of land has never fallen. This was true even in the cold years of 05 and 06. She also felt that for them, reserving land was more cost-effective than anything else. Money in the bank depreciates too quickly and becomes less and less valuable. After Hongmei went to Japan, she had no contact with Zhang Chen. Her avatar on MSN always showed offline. Zhang Chen had given up hope that one day her avatar would be lit up. Zhang Chen now wants to know the news about her, so he can only go through Wenwen and Qian. Wenwen and Zhang Chen said, "Mr. Zhang, don't worry, this diehard can take care of herself in Japan. She is doing well there." Good. Mr. Zhang, don't worry, maybe after a while, this stubborn girl's short-circuit brain will be normal again, and she will come to you again, Wenwen said to Zhang Chen on the phone. Zhang Chen could only smile bitterly while holding the phone. What he was thinking in his heart was, I hope. Don't worry, Mr. Zhang, Qian and I will help you keep an eye on this diehard and not allow her to talk or move, Wenwen said. Zhang Chen could only smile and say thank you to her. By the way, how are you doing now? Zhang Chen asked. Very good, Mr. Zhang, let me tell you, when that diehard guy just left, Qian and I didn't say anything, and we had no confidence in our hearts. Fortunately, with your help, we survived. Thank you. You, Mr. Zhang. Zhang Chen said it's okay, it should be, and I want to thank you too. By the way, if anything happens in the future, don't be polite, just give me a call. Okay, thank you. After Wenwen said that, she suddenly laughed again. She said, then if I am lonely at night and want someone to accompany me, can I chat naked with you? Get out, Zhang Chen cursed. Wenwen laughed and said okay, I will leave immediately. Please take care of yourself, Mr. Zhang. After Hongmei went to Japan, and Dongmei, they no longer called Zhang Chen when something happened, but called Xiao Li. She told Xiao Li that we, the youngest sister, were obsessed with something. Our whole family was very worried. I like Mr. Zhang, but I didn't expect that she would leave suddenly. Xiao Li, help me tell Mr. Zhang that we really didn't know that she would go to Japan. If we knew, we wouldn't let her go. Please help me tell Mr. Zhang that our whole family is. On his side, Xiaoli, help me tell Mr. Zhang, I'm too embarrassed to call him myself, what's the matter? Dongmei was chattering on the phone, and Xiaoli said okay, I'll go talk to Mr. Zhang. Xiaoli walked into Zhang Chen's office and saw the Red Plum Blossoms blooming store open on Zhang Chen's computer. Xiaoli knew that Zhang Chen was thinking of congratulating Hongmei, but she didn't say anything and pretended not to see it. I just told him about Dongmei's phone call. Zhang Chen nodded and said, I understand. Tell Dongmei, it's okay. I also respect Hongmei's choice. That's right. If you can't persuade Hongmei, others can't do anything either. Xiao Li sighed and walked out. Zhang Chen sat there blankly, thinking about what Xiaoli just said. He was wondering, had he really tried hard to convince Hongmei? How much effort have you put into the relationship between the two of them? Zhang Chen still doesn't know what the problem is between them, but he knows that the problem seems to have always been there, but he has always chosen to escape and avoid it, and he doesn't seem to have made much effort to repair the two of them. Relationship between them. To put it bluntly, Zhang Chen felt that he still regarded Hongmei as Xiao Zhao and forgot that she was an independent and stubborn person. He still felt that she should be the same as Xiao Zhao in the decisions and choices she made. 100% support. He forgot that Hongmei and Xiao Zhao are completely different people. When you get along with different people, you have to have different methods. But I just ignored this point, and when I woke up and discovered it, it was already too late, and everything became irreversible. Zhang Chen sighed. He stared at the newly launched clothing styles of Red Plum Blossoms. He could easily tell which ones were designed by He Hungmei and which ones were designed by Qian and their newly recruited designers. He could even imagine He Hungmei pouting and hitting the workbench with the pen from time to time when she was designing these clothes, as if He Hungmei was right in front of him. He knew He Hungmei too well, just as He Hungmei knew him well. Two people who knew each other so well did not expect that the gap would be the deepest. Zhang Chen let out a long sigh. Thank you Daos Hung 123 and Brother Bing for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1434. On Saturday afternoon, Li Yong arrived at Zhang Chen's place, and the three of them were sitting and drinking. Li Yong raised his glass and said to Lu Lizan, "Congratulations, Gangzi, you are rich now." Lu Ligan smiled and said, "Yes, my waist now is thicker than yours, Li Yong's." "Don't get carried away," Li Yong reminded, "and don't forget that the big tree attracts the wind." Lu Ligan heard something in Li Yong's words, and he said, "No, Li Yong, is there some secret that cannot be told?" "No, no, I'm just reminding you," Li Yong said, "sometimes in this company, there are advantages to being poor. When you are poor, you will be very careful and you have to break every penny into two. Being rich has its disadvantages. There are many examples of people who have money, but don't know what they should do, and will invest blindly, invest randomly, and eventually exceed their abilities." Lu Ligan nodded and said, "You are right to remind me, Li Yong, thank you. I'm just worried that you are too distracted to listen." Li Yong looked at Lu Ligan and continued. "The most terrifying thing is that the boss of a company will expand as his company grows. In the end, he will get lost and cannot find his way. Originally, when I looked in the mirror, I saw a human being in the mirror. Now when I look in the mirror, I feel he is already a god, omnipotent, there is nothing he cannot do. When we were in Heiken, didn't we see such 250s very often? It's the same for us, too. We speculated and sold the red line chart, we did it so happily, we thought we were so great, but in the end we didn't turn things around overnight, we really turned things around. When the time comes, who can bear it?" Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen both nodded. Lu Ligan said, "Continue, Li Yong, continue. Sometimes it's just a bystander." Li Yong said, "It's not that I don't know everything. I am in charge of this. I have seen many companies, and I still have a certain understanding of companies from all walks of life. How many companies in our country were doing well at first, but after a slight improvement, they said they would strive to be the best in the country. When they improved a little, they clamored to break out of Asia and go global. How many companies have said that their goal is within a few years, you can become a Fortune 500 company. Even if you are heavily in debt, you can become a Fortune 500 company. However, the Fortune 500 is only an indicator of scale, not a health indicator. If you are full of diseases, it doesn't matter if you become one of the top 500 companies in the world. When you fall, it won't happen overnight. Therefore, I never agree with shouting these slogans. On the contrary, the more companies that shout like this, the more I will pay attention to them. I want to see if you are bloated, how much business risk you have, and whether you are working for the top 500. Okay, Li Yong, you're right to remind me. Lu Ligan raised his glass and said, "Here, let's go." The three people clinked their glasses, drank it all in one gulp, put down their glasses, and Li Yong said, "Moreover, the bigger the company is, the harder it will be to save it when it falls. It turns out that your company, if it only has a scale of tens of millions, is about to fall. If we all help together, we can still save it. But now the scale is hundreds of billions. If it really falls, no one will be able to save it. Friends' assistance is only a drop in the bucket. Even our local government seems to be helpless. We have no choice and do not have the ability. Therefore, when a company becomes bigger, safety is more important than scale. First think about how to survive, and then think about how to do well. Live. Li Yong's reminder is right, Zhang Chen said. With the size of your company now, you can no longer rely on your head to make decisions. You still have to look forward and backward in everything. Lu Ligan looked at Zhang Chen and laughed. Zhang Chen asked, "Why are you laughing?" Lu Ligan said, "It seems that someone's decision-making is more censorious than mine, right? Tell me, from buying a specialty store on Yan'an Road to a hotel in Sanya, to the tropical botanical garden, which one of your decisions was not made censoriously? Can someone hold you? You and Meng Ping are more enthusiastic about buying from the Yan'an Road specialty store than me. If I don't buy it, you will all come here to buy it." "Are you talking about me?" Zhang Chen scolded. "I make these decisions. Although times are fast, there is a bottom line that should be firmly guarded." "What's the bottom line?" Lu Ligan asked. "That is, I will not do anything beyond my ability. Every time I invest, even if I completely lose money, I will not die. There is still a way to come back to life. Every time I make a decision, I will first calculate this account." "That's right, Zhang Chen is like this, no wonder he can seize every opportunity that should be seized. If the calculation is too detailed and too safe, you may not be able to take any opportunity. But if there is no such limit, you may be able to take advantage of it once. It will kill you." Li Yong agreed with Zhang Chen's statement. The three of them were drinking and chatting, and naturally they talked about the opening of Lu Ligan's dragon family. Lu Ligan told them that Mr. Ma also bought a house from me. Unexpectedly, now he is doing those on the internet are more profitable than those in real estate. Zhang Chen remembered. He said that Mr. Ma's company was going to be listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange next year and needed to attract some external shareholders. We were originally the #1 seller of clothing on their Doubao website. Zheng Huiyong came to me that day. She asked me if I was interested in investing in their company. If so, she went to tell Teacher Ma that I had not thought about this matter yet. Li Yong stared at Zhang Chen for a while, and then said, "Zhang Chen, I advise you not to take a trip into this muddy water." "What do you mean?" Zhang Chen asked. "Their company is indeed very famous now, and it is also within the scope of my supervision. However, I rarely go to their company once a year. Including, I will not even go to the company of the pole, I will only come to your Zhang Chen. Do you know why this is?" Li Yong asked. "Melon fields and plum trees," Lu Ligan said. "It's a bit like this, but not entirely," Li Yong said. "For a physical enterprise like Zhang Chen, it's very simple. He doesn't take land, and his taxes won't be reduced by a cent. All he earns is real hard-earned money." "You fool. Only those who are officials will blend with such companies. There is no space, and the company has no need to blend. On the contrary, a company like yours, like Ganzi, needs too much from the relevant government departments. Relaxing the hands of the relevant departments will be a huge benefit. Those financial companies, like Mr. Ma and others, companies that combine the internet and finance, even less they are doing things that are invisible and intangible, but there are tens of billions of benefits hidden underneath. Mr. Ma's company is not a simple internet company. It is a freak that combines the internet and finance. But it is not a formal financial company. Formal financial companies have strict regulatory procedures and are supervised by the People's Bank of China and the China Banking Regulatory Commission. His company, you almost have to rely on yourself to manage yourself, rely on self-discipline. There are too many loopholes, and there are too many loopholes that can be exploited. When a company like this grows in scale, it makes a lot of money every day, and more jealous people follow. Many times, even if Mr. Ma doesn't go to others, others will keep an eye on him and hunt him. In the end, he couldn't resist it. Those people were too fierce. This company seemed very simple, but in fact, the water inside was very deep. I don't even know if he wants to go public on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange to avoid those monsters. Logically speaking, his company is not short of money and does not need to go public. As far as I know, they are going public now. While trying to increase the company's debt ratio, companies with a low asset liability ratio cannot reach the threshold of a listed company. Li Yong, who are these people you are talking about? Zhang Chen asked. I can't say too much. Li Yong looked at the two of them and said to them, our society is developing too fast and progressing too fast, but there is a type of people who are also evolving rapidly. These people were reselling in the early years. They imported color TVs, but later they were dumped on approval documents, land, and foreign exchange quotas. Now, they have all gone to study finance. They are all graduates of prestigious American universities with master's and doctorate degrees in finance. It sounds like the name is very famous. After returning to China, they started to set up some asset management companies and fund companies one after another. They looked very formal and high class, but their methods were not so high class. They can be said to be extremely dirty. Look, someone in a certain industry is doing well. What those of you who have no background will do is work hard to do better than others and catch up with others. They're not. They came up and robbed them directly. Each of those companies seemed to be very formal and regulated, but in fact they were doing crappy things. They were things that others couldn't do and only they could do. Damn it! What they have is not just the power and access of their fathers. They can be said to have become a cancer in the economic operation of our country, and they are typical rats. One day, the country will take action to deal with them. It's not that the time has not come yet. When that day comes, the nest will be overturned and the eggs will be intact. Do you understand who I am talking about and what I am talking about? Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan nodded, and Li Yong said, Zhang Chen, it's better to work on your business with peace of mind. All you earn is hard-earned money, so no one cares about it. Those people have no other skills, but they all eat it. I can't afford to suffer, but I look down on you. I understand, Li Yong, Zhang Chen said. Li Yong, according to you, this teacher Ma is actually very hard-working, Lu Ligan asked. It's not just hard work. He talks in front of others and points out the country. In the dead of night, I think he will be scared just thinking about it, and he will shed cold sweat. But there is nothing he can do. If he is targeted, he will not be able to get rid of it. Originally, your real estate company they became the target of their hunting, but now they have found an industry where they can make money faster and easier. Li Yong said, and Lu Ligan nodded. He understood that originally he would be Daidashi in the plate, but now, he has become Teacher Ma. And those people were even more powerful than those girls. They didn't act on the wind, but smelled blood, so they opened their bloody mouths and came over with their teeth and claws. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes at around 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you Guandian Electrical and Mechanical, Peter, Ching Chuan's Haifeng, AC 777, Book Friends 202002191602284114, Yuingzi, Why Can't I Change My Name, Book Friends 202009031727593111, Tianying 1978, YSY 2002 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1435. On December 18, 2006, PDA futures products were finally listed on the Zhengzhou Commercial Exchange. The day before, Lao Ni said in the chat room that PDA will be listed tomorrow. Everyone is ready to prepare food and grass. We will focus on PTA. Everyone will buy it when it opens and speculate it. There were echoing voices below, all saying that we listen to the king. Lao Ni also told them for the first time that starting from tomorrow, everyone will enter the chat room at 9 o'clock, and we will direct the battle in the chat room, and everyone will obey my instructions. Everyone agreed. At almost 9 o'clock the next morning, Ren Rongrong led her subordinates into the chat room. At the same time, she also used MSN to contact Mr. Mao of Yangtze Petrochemical. She had also given them instructions the day before. A buy order was given the next day. Ren Rongrong's plan was that they would only use small casual funds and follow Lao Ni's operations. Their large funds would not enter the market for the time being, so as to relax Lao Ni's vigilance and make him feel that he had full control over the large funds entering and exiting the entire PDA. Understand, so that when the critical moment comes, you can give Lao Ni a fatal blow. At the same time, through this method, it is equivalent to letting Yangtze Petrochemical and Lao Ni temporarily join forces to operate in the same direction. This has two advantages. First, with these two large funds, they can make all the difference in the futures market. Yangtze after the petrochemical funds and Lao Ni join forces, it is easy for Lao Ni to mistakenly think that these funds can be mobilized at any time. He didn't know that this was a poison pill that could take effect at any time, leave him at the critical moment, turn into his opponent, and catch him off guard. Another advantage of doing this is that with the cooperation of these two large funds, in the futures market, you can basically make less money and lose less. This means that your own funds have not yet entered the market, but because she is trading under the command, Mao, they will always believe that this is one of their strategies. A person who makes money can easily trust others. Ren Rongrong wants Mr. Mao and the others to be obedient to him and not fall behind at critical moments. Before 9 o'clock, 10 minutes in advance, Lao Ni participated in the call auction. At 9 o'clock, PDA opened at 8,538 points. Lao Ni gave an order in the chat room, saying buy, and Ren Rongrong and the others started. At the same time, Ren Rongrong also told Mr. Mao to buy, and Mr. Mao and the others followed suit. On this day, the price of PDA continued to rise. The opening price was 8,538 points, which became the lowest price in the market. It reached 9,032 points during the session, and finally closed at 8,880 points. They could be said to have won a great victory, and the chat room was full of joy. Atmosphere, Lao Ni asked in the chat room, who made those 5,000 moves? Ren Rongrong knew that it was petrified by Yangtze, but she said, me. Do you have such a large amount of funds? Lao Ni asked. Ren Rongrong was right, the Shaanxi coal boss's capital is almost 600 million. When Ren Rongrong said it, he deliberately hid it a little. Lao Ni was shocked and thought, I can't tell. This Mao Xiaomao, who usually doesn't talk much in the chat room, turned out to be a hidden master. Lao Ni and Mao Xiaomao said, great, we will work together, can be invincible. Mao Xiaomao said, okay, I will follow the king's command. Lao Ni told everyone that everyone should not place big orders tomorrow. Let's take a look at the strength of the short side. We will wait for 2 days. When the strength of the short side is exposed, we will launch another wave of attacks. Ren Rongrong almost copied Lao Ni's words to Mr. Mao. Mr. Mao, who had tasted the benefits for the first time, said, okay, we only used 1/5 of the position. What to do next is up to you, the manager. The next day, the market opened at 8,860 points. The intraday high reached 8,958 points, the low reached 8,806 points, and finally closed at 8,906 points. It was basically in a sideways state throughout the day. Lao Ni told them that the strength of the short side has not been released yet. Stimulate them tomorrow. On December 20th, The market opened at 8,944 points, with an intraday high of 8,970 points and a low of 8,906 points. Finally, it closed at 8,958 points with a comprehensive victory for the bulls, achieving the purpose of stimulating the bears as mentioned by Lau Ni. After the market closed, Lau Ni told them in the chat room that everyone would stand still tomorrow and let the short side be happy for a day. In this way, they would use their full strength. On December 21st, the market opened at 8,940 points and closed at 8,912 points. PTA closed its first negative line in 4 days, but the drop was not obvious. At most, it gave the short side a glimmer of hope. Lau Ni told everyone that I already know how strong they are. When tomorrow starts, everyone will still follow today's operations. I will give instructions during the market. As soon as the instructions are given, you will go out immediately. Do you understand? Everyone makes it clear. As for how Lau Ni could tell how strong the other party was, he didn't say. Ren Rong wanted to ask but didn't. On December 22nd, PTA opened at 8,904 points. When it fell to 8,824 points, Lau Ni gave the order to attack, and everyone entered the market one after another. As soon as Mr. Mao and others singled out 10,000 hands, the market price rose rapidly. At 8,900, Lau Ni couldn't help shouting, "Did you do it, Mao Xiao Mao?" Ren Rong said yes. "Great, Mao Xiao Mao," Lau Ni shouted excitedly. On this day, it closed at 8,928 points. Lau Ni excitedly told everyone that the short side could no longer resist. Tomorrow is when we launch the general attack. Everyone should buy as soon as the market opens. You don't need to listen to the instructions, just buy. Ren Rong conveyed the same meaning to Mr. Mao and others. The next day, PTA once again pulled out a big positive line, opening at 8,918 points, and finally closing at 9,098 points. On December 26th, the bull seemed quite confident. The PTA opened at 9,120 points on that day. There was a fierce battle between the bulls and the bears during the session, but in the end the bulls won, pushing the market to 9,166 points. When it was almost 9,150, Lau Ni came to see Ren Rong, but this time it was not by shouting in the chat room, but by opening a small window and whispering to her. After 9150, shipments will begin in small orders. Ren Rong understood that Lau Ni was reminding him to escape first to ensure his own interests. It seemed that Lau Ni valued him very much. "Aren't you going to continue the offensive?" Ren Rong asked. "It's almost the same, it's reached the ceiling," Lau Ni said. At almost 3 o'clock, when Lau Ni and Yangtze Petrochemical were closing their positions in small orders, Lau Ni shouted in the chat room and asked everyone to start withdrawing. By this time, more funds had been sold by these two companies. The popularity of PTA attracted people to enter the market. Although Lau Ni and Ren Rong began to withdraw, the market finally closed at 9,158 points. Lau Ni still opened the small window and asked Ren Rong, "Is everything flat?" Ren Rong said, "It's all settled, thank you, Your Majesty." "Are you qualified for collective bidding?" Lau Ni asked. Ren Rong said yes. "Okay, let's go short during the call auction tomorrow, and go short all the way after the market opens to bring down the market," Lau Ni said, and Ren Rong agreed. Lau Ni then gave an order in the chat room to go short tomorrow with a target of 9,000 points. On December 27th, the price of PTA was severely beaten by Yangtze Petrochemical and Lau Ni during the collective bidding stage. When the market opened, the price had reached 9,082, down 0.83% from the previous day. After the market opened, the multi-party funds that entered yesterday found that the strength of the short side was unprecedentedly strong today. They also stopped their losses in time and turned around one after another. Kong Fang, who had been stunned a few days ago, saw the scene and became energetic and rejoined the battle. The price fell all the way, and finally closed at 9,016. Although it was still a little far away from the 9,000 points mentioned by Lau Ni, it also fell by 142 points on this day. Lau Ni shouted in the chat room, "The downward channel has been opened, and the next step is to fight." The crowd below was excited and applauded one after another. On December 28, PDA opened at 9,000 points. The bulls just struggled for a while at the beginning and pulled the market to 9,006 points. Then they completely disarmed and abandoned their positions. The price fell all the way and closed at 8,856 points. It fell by 1.77%. Lau Ni said in the chat room that we will continue tomorrow and fight all the way, and we will fight whoever comes forward. Then PDA almost fell all the way until January 23, 2007. When Lau Ni and Yangtze Petrochemical took profits from 80.60 to 80.80, they almost made a profit in this 1-month decline. 1,000 points. Mr. Mao called Ren Rongrong and was delighted. After they all left the market, the price of PDA fluctuated and then began to rise slowly. After this battle, Ren Rongrong did not enter the market because of their large funds, so she did not make much profit. However, she understood Lau Ni's methods and did not dare to underestimate him. She felt that as long as he had large funds in hand, is steady and ruthless, he is still very scary. If you want to defeat him, in addition to having the right timing, you must be unexpected in terms of tactics. Fortunately, as far as the two of them are concerned, Lau Ni has been in the light, enjoying being in front of his king, but he is in the dark, and Lau Ni has no idea what he says. This Mao Xiaomao, who seems to obey his words, it turned out to be Ren Rongrong, the Count of Monte Cristo, who was expelled by him and was about to take revenge. Moreover, so many enchantment formations have been deployed, and Ren Rongrong feels that what he lacks now is opportunity. "Don't be in a hurry," she kept telling herself, "don't be in a hurry." Ren Rongrong stood up and walked to Lu Yun's office. She reported this round of PDA operations to Lu Yun, especially telling her that her target was Dahua Group. Doing futures is different from the stock market. The money you make comes from other people's pockets. If you want to make big money, you must have an opponent with strong funds. Only then can you wash his money into yours through the market account. If you don't have such large funds, and the large funds are operating in the same direction as you, then you won't be able to make big money except by cleaning up the small traders. So keeping an eye on whose pockets is very important to them. After Ren Rongrong finished speaking, he gave Lu Yun the information about Dahua Group and Lau Ni. Lu Yun asked, "How much capital does he have? Do you understand? It's bigger than Yangtze Petrochemical, almost 1.23 billion," Ren Rongrong said. There is another extreme situation, that is, Zongheng Group and Wuhuan Group, like Dahua Group, are both in Shaoxing. They must be familiar with each other. What if they join forces? Lu Yun asked. The Zongheng Group has a big air and a large enterprise scale. However, their funds have always been very tight and they don't have much funds to mobilize. The total capital of these three enterprises is about 2 billion, Ren Rongrong said. We must also consider that Zhejiang's private finance is very developed. If they spare no expense, they will still have a lot of funds that can be mobilized temporarily, Lu Yun said. Don't be anxious, find the right opportunity to attack, so that they don't have time to mobilize funds. Ren Rongrong said, "Yes, I think so too, Mr. Lu. Thank you for the tip when the night comes knocking. Thank you for the monthly passes of Knock on the Door at Night, Book Friends 2017013091218553, LCS 0001, don't take it too seriously, and Jinwu Lanji. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1436. Since the beginning of 2007, one word has frequently appeared in the media: excess liquidity, too much money in the market, and there must be a source. So the stock market and the real estate market quietly started. In 2007, China's stock market rose with a short squeeze style, constantly breaking various records. The stock index, trading volume, and the number of account openings hit new highs. The Shanghai Composite Index opened at the beginning of the year and rose from 2,728 points on January 4 to a high of 6,124 points on October 16, an increase of more than 100%. For the first time, the Chinese stock market led the world stock market. In May 2005, the Shanghai Composite Index was only 1,000 points. At that time, the total market value of outstanding shares in Shenzhen and Shanghai was about 1.2 trillion yuan, and the total market value of stocks was about 3.5 trillion yuan. By October 2007, when the stock index reached its peak, the combined market capitalization of the two cities was nearly 30 trillion, equivalent to an additional doubling of China's GDP in 2 years. The key to the problem is that if the increased wealth is a real asset, it can absorb excess currency and improve the situation of excess liquidity. But in fact, all these increased wealth are financial assets with high liquidity. These assets have a quasi-currency function, which greatly increases the actual purchasing power of society and aggravates excess liquidity. One of the most classic stories circulated at that time was that a person invested 100,000 yuan in the stock market at the beginning of the year, which later turned into 300,000 yuan, and then used this virtual money to buy a house. Lu Ligan and Tan Shuhen had a premonition of this change from the beginning of the year. During the Spring Festival, although the actual transactions of the sales departments of their various projects did not increase much, the number of people viewing the houses increased significantly, and they could even be filled with people. Describe. Lu Ligan and Tan Shuhen said that they had been bored for too long and could no longer hold it in any longer. Lu Ligan and Tan Shuhen asked the sales departments of the following branches and various projects in Hangzhou to prepare for the arrival of a new wave of sales peaks. Although the general managers of each branch and the heads of several project departments in Hangzhou were doubtful about this, they still got ready. In April, exciting news came. When Vangcharm City opened, the long-lost thought of queuing up to buy a house reappeared. Many people even took a small bench and went to the sales department to start buying a house 2 days in advance. Got in line. The money earned in the stock market began to overflow from the stock market and flow into the real estate market. The excess liquidity began to hit the banks of Hangzhou's real estate market. On May 13, the first phase of another project of Lu Ligan and his team in Qianzhong New Town, Splendid China's Splendid Flower City, opened for sale, triggering late-night queues. The first batch of 738 suites achieved a 100% reservation rate on the opening day. Half a month later, in the early morning of May 28, the second batch of more than 830 houses in Splendid Flower City poured out, once again triggering all-night queues to buy houses. In just half a month, Splendid Flower City sold more than 1,500 houses, which became a miracle. The record of 662 units booked in a single day set during the opening period of Splendid Flower City was not broken even in the mad cow year of 2009. The crazy Chinese stock market in 2006 turned into a machine for making wealth. Ningbo Young-er, a cross-border real estate company from the clothing industry, made more than 10 billion yuan in the capital market at that time, which gave Young-er a strong position in the land market. Soaring bullishness. When the stock market reached its peak in 2007, Vang's market value once exceeded 200 billion yuan, far exceeding the combined market value of the 4 largest real estate companies in the United States. The hot sales of Splendid Flower City was a miracle for the real estate industry in Hangzhou in 2007. Another miracle was created by the wealthy Ningbo Younger in Hangzhou. On July 9, at the land auction in Hangzhou, Ningbo Younger spent 1.476 billion yuan to win the Hangzhou Business School plot on Suiwen Road at a floor price of 15,712 yuan per square meter, once again setting a new record in Hangzhou that year. The city's floor land price record. On the night that Younger auctioned the land, a nearby building was urgently closed, and it was reported that the price increased by 6,000 yuan/square meter overnight. Since then, house prices in Hangzhou have risen across the board, and the chain reaction of Younger's high-priced land purchase has gradually begun to show. The late-night queues to buy houses in Splendid Flower City and the sky-high prices for Youngers were two typical expressions of the Hangzhou property market in 2007. The former started and heralded the popularity of Hangzhou's real estate market in 2007. Since then, the monthly transaction volume of Hangzhou's real estate market has hit new highs, and the stock of housing has dropped sharply. This has led to the phenomenon of holding back the market, which has become a temporary boom. The sky-high price of the Ningbo Youngerhang commercial court land plot is a typical example of the crazy land market in 2007, and is also a typical example of land prices pushing up housing prices. Stimulated by excess liquidity and frequent land kings, Hangzhou's property market began to go crazy in June and July. By October, the stock market reached a high point but then became weak and continued to trade sideways. Many sensitive speculators had a premonition. The stock market has reached its peak, and they have withdrawn more funds from the stock market and invested it in the real estate market, setting off another wave of climax in the real estate market. The real estate fair in October 2007 turned into a real estate fair. Due to the recession in the previous 2 years, developers did not open many new projects and had very few existing houses on hand. Everyone began to hoard them collectively. I am holding on to my house and not selling it, waiting for the price to rise. The developers' collective bid to block the sale aroused public outrage. Everyone scolded them, "If you don't sell your house, why are you attending a real estate fair? Is this real estate fair an exhibition?" The competent authorities went door to door to every showroom and told everyone not to cover their plates, but with little success. The competent authorities urgently summoned the bosses of major real estate companies together and held a symposium. At the meeting, the bosses promised not to cover up the market. However, after they returned, they still went their own way and closed the market. Mobile phones and people also disappeared from the exhibition. People from the relevant departments called them, but they couldn't be found. As for the reply left in the showroom, we did not receive a notice that it could be sold. In other words, we contacted the boss and the boss said yes, then it was okay. This contact lasted until the closing of the housing fair, making the relevant departments furious. Li Yong even called Lu Ligan and told him, "Gangzi, you are not allowed to cover the market." Lu Ligan said, "Okay, we will definitely not cover the market." Facing the entire crazy real estate market, Lu Ligan felt a kind of fear. He felt that it was not people who wanted to treat the real estate industry as a urinal, but you, who voluntarily became the urinal. Urine has created this crazy real estate market to force government departments to take action. I really don't remember to fight. Lu Ligan told his subordinates to sell whatever they could sell as soon as possible, as the situation would soon change. Although the subordinates felt reluctant to part with it, they had no choice but to do what the boss said. Splendid China became the only real estate company that did not sell any properties at the real estate fair, and all the houses were snapped up. Li Yong came over and saw Lu Ligan. Li Yong said, "Yes, Pol, you are interesting enough." Lu Ligan smiled and said, "That's how I can embarrass you." In a sense, for the property market, liquidity is a success or a failure. Excess liquidity not only pushes up the prices of assets centered on real estate and stocks, but also creates inflationary pressure, and the latter especially not tolerated by the government. Therefore, what Liu Ligan was worried about happened, and the country began a drastic liquidity tightening policy. A game between regulatory authorities and crazy markets has begun. On May 18, the People's Bank of China announced that starting from June 5, 2007, it would raise the RMB deposit reserve ratio for deposit-taking financial institutions by 0.5 percentage points. Institutional RMB deposit and loan benchmark interest rates. This is the first time in the past 10 years that my country has simultaneously announced an increase in the deposit reserve ratio and the benchmark deposit and loan interest rates. In order to standardize the transaction order of the real estate market and purify the market environment, the state and local governments once again tightened monetary policy and launched a rare financial combination punch. Since then, the central bank has raised interest rates 6 times and raised the reserve requirement ratio 10 times, showing that it will not withdraw its troops until excess liquidity is eliminated. Strict control policies specifically targeted at real estate were also introduced one after another at the end of the year when developers' blocking of sales was at its worst. On September 27, the Central Bank and the China Banking Regulatory Commission jointly issued a notice requiring strict management of housing consumption loans. For those who have used loans to purchase a house and apply to purchase a second or more houses, inclusive, the down payment ratio shall not be less than 40%. The interest rate shall not be lower than 1.1 times the benchmark interest rate of the same grade during the same period. On December 11, the Central Bank and the China Banking Regulatory Commission issued the supplementary notice on strengthening commercial real estate credit management, clarifying that the new housing loan policy will be implemented on a household basis. The clarification of the identification standards for second homes will greatly reduce speculative transactions in real estate. Tight money, coupled with the continued contraction of liquidity, caused the crazy Hangzhou property market to come to an end at the end of the year. Transactions once fell to freezing point, and single-digit daily transaction volume was not uncommon, pouring pressure on the extremely hot-headed market. What was served was not cold water, but ice cubes. After that, when developers came to their senses and concentrated on promoting sales at the end of the year, transaction volume began to stabilize, but it was already a far cry from the craziness of a few months ago. Hangzhou's property market ushered in 2008 in a downturn. Liu Ligan said with emotion that the year 2007 was a textbook-like vivid lesson on excess liquidity and anti-excess liquidity. However, it seemed that everyone did not learn anything. In this market, as long as there is a slight chance, we'll still fight back. Tan Shahen said that counterattack is in line with human nature. Who doesn't want to pursue profits and who doesn't want to maximize benefits? When the two people talked like this, they felt that this problem seemed to have no solution, and it would stir up the nerves of the market every year. This is humming exciting, Liu Ligan said. By the end of 2007, the crazy Chinese stock market came to an abrupt end. What everyone was talking about was no longer whether the stock market would fall, but when. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes at one time and 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you Shi Yitan and Dragon for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1437. After the Spring Festival, the SAT scores came down and Zhang Xiangbei got a high score. He will go to the United States to attend interviews at those schools. Zhang Chen and Lin Shuwen sent Zhang Xiangbei to Shanghai Pudong Airport to take a plane to New York. Zhang Xiangbei's grandparents and grandparents were also going to see him off. Zhang Chen said that he would come back after the interview to apply for a visa. This time we haven't officially left for the United States yet, so you don't need to send them off this time. How could Zhang Chen's mother be willing? She wiped her eyes and said, "How can I feel relieved when Bai Bei goes to a place so far away from the United States alone?" Zhang Chen said, "Don't worry, Zhang Xiangbei was on the plane more than 10 hours after the security check. When he arrived in New York, Xiaofang came to pick him up at the airport." No matter what Zhang Chen said, he couldn't win over them, so he finally agreed to go with them. Xiangnan also asked for a day off from school to see Zhang Xiangbei off. In this way, Zhang Chen asked Xiao Shen to drive them there in a van. When they arrived at Pudong Airport, Lin Shuwen accompanied Zhang Xiangbei to complete the check-in procedures. When they were about to go through the security check, Zhang Xiangbei's grandmother and grandma, with their eyes red, stood there and explained to Zhang Xiangbei that they had arrived in the United States. "Just listen to Aunt Xiaofang, do you understand?" Zhang Xiangbei nodded. "There are a lot of bad people in America, so don't run around alone, got it?" Zhang Xiangbei said, "I understand, sister. Also, you must study hard and don't let Americans look down on us Chinese children." Zhang Xiangbei nodded, "Okay, sister, I will." The two of them hugged each other and cried bitterly as they talked. Zhang Chen quickly persuaded Xiang Nan and Zhang Xiangbei that they would be back after the interview was over in a few days. Xiang Nan twitched and said, "What's the use? I don't want to leave in the end." "It doesn't matter. Zhang Xiangbei can come back during summer and winter vacations. By the way, if you miss your brother, you can also go to the United States to see Zhang Xiangbei during summer vacation," Zhang Chen said. After hearing this, Xiangnan stopped crying. She said to Zhang Xiangbei, "Did you hear that? If you are obedient, my sister will go to the United States to see you. If you are disobedient, my sister will ignore you." Zhang Xiangbei said quickly, "Sister, I will be very obedient." It was almost time, and several people stood there, watching Zhang Xiangbei carrying a Nike backpack and walking towards the security check. Zhang Chen looked at Zhang Xiangbei's back, and suddenly felt a little sad. When he went to Hainan to make a living, he was already in his 20s, and he went with 3 people. He didn't expect that Zhang Xiangbei was only so old, and he was so young. "I went to the United States alone." Zhang Xiangbei went to the United States for 2 days. That night, at around 12 o'clock in the middle of the night, Zhang Chen's cell phone rang. He looked at it and saw that it was Xiaofang. He quickly picked it up. As soon as the call came through, Xiaofang was on the phone. Cried, "That's great, brother-in-law, I said Bai Bei can do it." "What, did Zhang Xiangbei pass the interview?" Zhang Chen also became excited. Passed. "Which school?" "Trinity School, we went to Trinity School for an interview this morning. Bai Bei passed on the spot." "There is no need to go to the other 2 schools," Xiaofang said. "Is it true that Zhang Xiangbei is so powerful?" Zhang Chen said with a smile. "Of course, it's because you underestimated him," Xiaofang said. "I have got the 1-20 form from the school. I will fill it out. When the time comes, I will go back north and ask Sister Shuwen to accompany him to the Consulate General in Shanghai to apply for F1 visa. This visa lasts for 5 years. Normally, you can stay in the United States for 8 years. Do you want Awen to accompany you to Shanghai?" Zhang Chen asked. "Yes, Sister Shuwen knows the people at the consulate," Xiaofang said. "She will go there very quickly. Otherwise, we will have to wait for this visa. By the way, if we want to catch up with the start of the fall semester, April 15th before calling, all the procedures must be completed. I have already told Sister Shuwen, she knows how to do it." Zhang Chen laughed and said, "Does this still require a backdoor? Are foreigners the same as us Chinese?" "Of course, what do you think? There is no backdoor. If Xiaoshu went to Japan that time, if you didn't find someone to open the backdoor, would it have been so fast?" Xiaofang said. Zhang Chen thought about it, and it was true. "Brother-in-law, Tomorrow I will take Bai Bei to find a house next to their school. Xiaofang said, we will move there. Isn't it far from where you work? Zhang Chen said. Zhang Chen had been to Trinity School and knew that there was a long way from there to Wall Street where Xiaofang worked. Of course Bai Bei is the most important, Xiaofang said. This way, Bai Bei can go home by himself after class, and I can drive and take the subway to work. Besides, I don't have to work for 2 days every week. Zhang Chen said. Yes, you can arrange it. Bai Bei, come here, Dad's calling. Xiaofang called. Zhang Xiangbei ran over, picked up the phone and said, Dad, I passed the exam. I know, and Xiaofang told me to congratulate you. Zhang Xiangbei, by the way, where are you now? Zhang Chen asked. On the way to the parking lot, and Xiaofang said that she wanted to reward me and take me to eat delicious food, Zhang Xiangbei said. Zhang Chen smiled and said, okay, then you eat more. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Chen looked at his watch. It was almost 1 o'clock, but he still stood up, went downstairs, went to his parents, told them the good news, and then went to Xiao Zhao's parents. Told them that the 4 old men were very happy to hear the news. When Zhang Xiangbei came back from the United States, Zhang Chen and Lin Shuwen took him to the Consulate General in Shanghai. Sure enough, through an acquaintance, Lin Shuwen didn't even have to wait in line or go to the visa hall. She went directly to the office of the cultural section of the consulate. Bei got the F1 visa smoothly. Next, after June, Zhang Xiangbei went directly to Trinity School in the United States to register. Zhang Chen looked at the time and saw that it was almost 5 o'clock. He was hesitating whether to wait for Lu Ligan to come back to have dinner together or go home and eat with the 4 old people and Zhang Xiangbei. Zhang Chen's cell phone rang. He looked at it and saw that it was a strange call. Zhang Chen picked it up. A voice came from the phone, which startled Zhang Chen. Master, I'm in the restaurant of the International Building and I want to treat you to dinner, He Hongmei told him on the phone. When did you come, Hongmei? Zhang Chen asked quickly. This afternoon, He Hongmei said. Master, can't you make it? Okay, I'll be right over, Zhang Chen said hurriedly. He quickly got up, walked out of the office, almost ran downstairs, and drove to the International Building. When he reached the 2nd floor, he saw He Hongmei sitting at a table by the window from a distance. With the original compared with He Hongmei, she is much more dignified. She wears a light gray suit and looks more like a professional woman. Zhang Chen walked over, and He Hongmei stood up and stretched out her hand to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen stretched out his hand and shook it. He Hongmei smiled and said, Master, please sit down. Zhang Chen sat down opposite her. Zhang Chen said, I haven't been able to contact you. I didn't expect you to suddenly show up today. He Hongmei pursed her lips and smiled, and she said to Zhang Chen, Master, we have agreed first that I must treat you to this meal. Why? Zhang Chen asked with a smile. No reason, I just want to invite you. Zhang Chen nodded and asked, are you going back to China this time to visit relatives or for work? He Hongmei lowered her head slightly, sighed and said, Master, I came back this time specifically to see you. I will go to Chongqing tomorrow morning. What's the matter? Is there a bottleneck in the design? Zhang Chen asked. He Hongmei shook her head, lowered her head and said nothing, as if she had something unspeakable that she couldn't say. Zhang Chen said, just say it, no matter what it is, I will help you. I don't want your help. He Hongmei raised her head and looked at Zhang Chen. After hesitating for a while, she mustered up the courage to say to Zhang Chen, Master, I am here just to tell you that I am about to get married. Ah, Zhang Chen was startled and froze there. He was about to get married. What did he mean? Zhang Chen sat blankly. After a long time, he calmed down and said to He Hongmei, then I want to bless you. Thank you, He Hongmei whispered, I just feel that I should tell you the news myself. I don't want you to hear this from other people's mouths. Master, I'm sorry. Zhang Chen shook his head slowly and said, there is nothing to be sorry for. I respect your choice. By the way, is your partner Japanese or Chinese? Japanese, He Hongmei said. Master, you know him. Zhang Chen immediately thought of Japanese people whom he knew personally. He asked, Harada Shino? Yes, that's him. He Hongmei nodded. He is very nice and treats me very well. Zhang Chen also nodded. After that, the two people didn't talk about the matter anymore. They just ate the food in silence and talked about some work matters. He Hongmei raised her wine glass and said to Zhang Chen, come on, master, let's have a drink. Okay. Zhang Chen raised the cup and clinked it with her. He saw He Hongmei's eyes were red, and she quickly turned her head away. The two of them finished eating in silence. Zhang Chen watched He Hongmei pay the bill. The two of them stood up and walked towards the elevator. Zhang Chen asked He Hongmei, what are your plans next? When I get up early tomorrow morning, I will go back to Chongqing, He Hongmei said, then from Chongqing, I will go directly back to Japan. Zhang Chen nodded. After you get married, you can come to Hangzhou with Harada Shino, Zhang Chen said, and He Hongmei smiled without saying anything. The elevator arrived and the elevator door opened. He Hongmei hurriedly said goodbye, master, and walked into the elevator. Zhang Chen did not follow him, but stood there and looked at He Hongmei silently. When the elevator door was about to close, He Hongmei glanced at him, her eyes already filled with tears. Zhang Chen didn't know how he got downstairs, or how he walked to the parking lot and got into the car. When the car door clicked, he suddenly thought that He Hongmei had left forever, and tears burst out of his eyes instantly. His eye sockets. Thank you Xuemu, Book Friends 202009031727593111, Zizhiwu, Book Friends 202002191602284114 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1438. Zhang Chen returned home, sat on the bedside, stared blankly at Xiao Zhao's urn, and said to her, Xiao Zhao, I'm sorry, I couldn't marry Hongmei home. After a while, he laughed again and said, from now on, we will still be together, which is also very good. Xiao Zhao was silent, and Zhang Chen continued, if you don't object, then that's it, Xiao Zhao. Zhang Chen lay down on the bed, but he tossed and turned and couldn't fall asleep. All that appeared in his mind were the scenes when he and He Hongmei were together, which made Zhang Chen feel panicked. Zhang Chen sat up, took his phone, and rummaged around. He suddenly remembered and smiled bitterly. He had been in Hangzhou for so long and knew many people, but his life circle seemed to be getting narrower and narrower. There are not many close friends. But there are even fewer people who can call him anytime and anywhere 24 hours a day and are willing to call him. Among the millions of people in Hangzhou, among the thousands of people Zhang Chen knew, the ones he could really dig into were Lu Ligan and Li Yang. But after all, Li Yang's identity was different now. Generally speaking, they were both. He often comes to see them when it is convenient for him, but they rarely call him. Zhang Chen found Lu Ligan's number and dialed it. When the call went through, Zhang Chen asked, what are you doing? Stand up the corpse, Lu Ligan said. Single acupointment and 2 acupoints, Zhang Chen asked. Single point, all alone, Lu Ligan said. Get up and drink, Zhang Chen said. Okay, you come to pick me up, or should I pick you up, Lu Ligan asked. You pick me up, I don't want to drive. Wait, I'll be downstairs in 10 minutes. After Lu Ligan finished speaking, he hung up the phone. Although Lu Ligan asked him to go downstairs in 10 minutes, Zhang Chen still hung up the phone and got up. When he got downstairs, he walked to the gate of the Jingxiu home community. Lu Ligan did not arrive, so Zhang Chen took out his cigarette and squatted there. After smoking a cigarette, Lu Ligan's car arrived and Zhang Chen got in the car. Where to go? Lu Ligan asked. Whatever, just a quieter place, Zhang Chen said. Lu Ligan looked at him and cursed, is there a quiet place for those who eat late-night snacks? They pretend to be tired during the day, but at this point, the bestiality comes out. Zhang Chen sat there, leaning his head back and closing his eyes. It's been a long time since I've had roasted leg of lamb. Let's go eat roasted leg of lamb, Lu Ligan asked, and Zhang Chen said yes. Lu Ligan drove to Wangjiangmen and went to the store they often went to. He chose an open-air table and sat down. What do you want to eat? Lu Ligan asked. Zhang Chen said, anything is fine. Lu Ligan looked at him and said nothing. He stood up by himself, ordered the meal and sat down. He looked at Zhang Chen and murmured in his heart. He felt that this guy must have something going on today because he started to go out to drink. It was him who wanted to eat, but he had no requirements for what to eat. It seemed that the focus was not on eating, but the need for someone to accompany him. Why are you looking at me? Zhang Chen asked curiously when he saw Lu Ligan staring at him. Tell me, what happened? Lu Ligan said. It's okay, I'll have something to do, Zhang Chen said. Is it okay to be acting strangely like this? Are you behaving abnormally if I ask you to drink? Zhang Chen scolded, I've drank countless times, so haven't you already become smart? It's different, I feel different today. Lu Ligan shook his head and then asked, is everything okay? It's really okay, Zhang Chen said. That's good, Lu Ligan laughed, I thought about it for a while, but I can't think of anything happening to you. If something happened, I would have known about it a long time ago. What do you mean you already knew it? Zhang Chen asked curiously. Look, the old people in this family are all in good health. Zhang Xiangbei has made a big decision and is just waiting for the date to leave. Apart from these two things, what else will happen at home? In the company, I live in your company, there's something going on upstairs, and I'm not stupid, how could I not know about it? So after thinking about it, it should be fine, Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen smiled bitterly in his heart, but cursed, you still think too much. Come on, if nothing happens, let's drink from a big bowl and eat big pieces of meat. Lu Ligan raised his glass, Zhang Chen clinked it with him, and the two of them drank it down. The two of them ate until about 2 o'clock, and Lu Ligan sent Zhang Chen home. Zhang Chen took a shower and fell back on the bed. He tossed and turned and still couldn't sleep. He felt depressed for no reason. It wasn't until the sky outside the window was polished that Zhang Chen fell asleep in a daze. When Zhang Chen woke up, it was almost 11 o'clock. He thought that He Hongmei should have been on the plane to Chongqing by this time, and felt a little sad. Zhang Chen parked the car in the parking lot downstairs in the dynamic zone, went upstairs, turned around the stairs, and saw a person sitting on the flower bed under the shade of the trees in the yard, with a bag beside him. The person saw Zhang Chen came and stood up. Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment, then his eyes lit up and he shouted, Xiao Wu. After not seeing each other for so many years, Xiao Wu was darker than before, but stronger, and there was a sense of vicissitudes of life on his face. Xiao Wu stood there and called out, Brother Chen. When did you arrive? Zhang Chen asked. I just got off the train this morning, Xiao Wu said. Let's go, come into the office. Zhang Chen quickly greeted Xiao Wu into the office. Have you met Ganzi and Tan Shahen? Zhang Chen asked. No, I only know this place. I don't know if it has been demolished. After getting off the car, I came here to try my luck. The changes outside are really great, Xiao Wu said. Zhang Chen felt a little sad when hearing these ordinary words. He immediately picked up the phone on his desk and dialed the number in Tan Shahen's office. When the call was connected, Zhang Chen said into the phone, Tan Shahen, you and the Pole come here quickly, Xiao Wu is here. Who, Zhang Chen, who do you think it is? Tan Shahen asked. Xiao Wu, Zhang Chen said. Tan Shahen said ah and shouted, Zhang Chen, is it true? Believe it or not, Zhang Chen hung up the phone after saying that. He walked over and poured water for Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu was obviously still a little unfamiliar with the outside world. He was sitting there looking a little reserved. Okay, Xiao Wu, it'll be fine when you come out. You suffered a lot in there, right? Zhang Chen asked. It's okay, Xiao Wu said, those guards took good care of me. The two people sat and talked, but Zhang Chen was basically the only one talking. Xiao Wu only answered questions. Only once did Xiao Wu ask. Where's Sister Xiao Zhao? I was in the financial center earlier and I didn't see Sister Xiao Zhao. Zhang Chen's face turned gray and he told Xiao Wu that he was no longer here. No more, what do you mean? Xiao Wu asked anxiously. He passed away several years ago. He died of SARS at the time, Zhang Chen said. Ah, Xiao Wu exclaimed, and then froze there. After a while, Xiao Wu said, I'm sorry, Brother Chen. Zhang Chen shook his head, it's nothing, I'm used to it. Boxing Master. Boxing Master, Lu Ligan shouted as soon as he and Tan Shahen went upstairs. Xiao Wu stood up when he heard the sound. Tan Shahen had already rushed to the door of the office. When she saw Xiao Wu, Tan Shahen said ah, in surprise again, rushed over, hugged Xiao Wu, and started crying. Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen stood by the side. Lu Ligan said, okay, Xiao Wu is back. This is a happy thing. Why are you crying? I want you to take care of it, Tan Shahen cursed, but continued to cry while holding Xiao Wu, and Xiao Wu's eyes turned red. After everyone sat down on the sofa, Lu Ligan asked, Xiao Wu, what are your plans next? Xiao Wu shook his head and Zhang Chen said, I'll make arrangements. At noon, let's have a good meal first. Xiao Wu, you must not have eaten well for a long time. After dinner, in the afternoon, I will ask the driver Xiao Sheng to take you back to Yongcheng and stay at home for a few days. Look at your father, visit your mother's grave, and then come back. This time, Xiao Wu, don't allow yourself to have any more plans. After I return to Hangzhou, I will take the driver's license test again. After I finish the test, I will drive for me and follow me from now on. You can also follow me and drive for me, Lu Ligan said. It's better to follow Zhang Chen, Tan Shahen said. Xiao Wu, do you agree? Zhang Chen asked Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu nodded, I will follow Brother Chen's arrangements. Zhang Chen sighed and said to Xiao Wu, after your accident, Ganzi and I felt very guilty. The two of us had long seen that Wang Chao was unreasonable and couldn't follow him for a long time. But we didn't expect that he would cause such a big thing. It's okay, if we had let you leave earlier, you wouldn't have suffered so much. Hey, why are you talking about those things now? Let's go for a walk and eat first, Lu Ligan said. By the way, Xiao, do you want to take a shower first? Zhang Chen asked, have you been on the train for a long time? It took 38 hours to take the train from Xining to Hangzhou. Including the road from the farm to Xining, we walked for 3 days, Xiao Wu said. Only then did Zhang Chen, Lu Ligan, and Tan Shahen realize that Xiao Wu was originally serving his sentence in Shanghai. Zhang Chen said, then you go take a shower first. Xiao Wu said yes. He picked up his backpack and walked into the bathroom. Tan Shahen also stood up. She said, I'll go out for a while. After she said that, she walked out. Neither Zhang Chen nor Lu Ligan knew what she was going to do. Not bad, better than I expected, Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen smiled and thought, that's probably all he can say. Xiao Wu finished taking a bath, changed his clothes, and came out of the bathroom. He looked paler than before and his complexion was much better. He was still a little shy when he smiled at them. Zhang Chen and Lu Lizan looked a little relieved, feeling that the familiar Xiao Wu was back. Lu Ligan teased him, Xiao Wu, can you still do somersaults now? Xiao Wu looked at him and lifted up his pants with both hands. Just as Zhang Chen was about to stop him, Xiao Wu had already finished somersaulting. Lu Lipol clapped his hands and laughed. Not bad, not bad. His Majesty is still the same as before. What's good? Tan Shahan walked in and asked, holding a vest bag in her hand. Lu Ligan said that just now Xiao performed a backflip. Childish devil, Tan Shahan scolded. She knew without asking that it must have been Lu Lipol's idea. Tan Shahan took out a cell phone carton from her vest pocket and told Xiao Wu, "This is your cell phone. Remember to call your sister every day when you go back." Xiao Wu wanted to refuse, but knew this was impossible, so he could only say, "Thank you, Sister Zhen. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes at one time and 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you for your monthly votes at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night and book friend 201909172026529888. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1439. The 4 of them went to Tuxianjiayuan. Zhang Chen gave the recipe to Xiao Wu and asked him to order. Xiao Wu took the recipe and turned it over several times with a look of embarrassment on his face. Apparently he was not used to doing such things and sat down. Tan Shahan, who was beside him, said, "Let me have some." Xiao Wu said yes, breathed a sigh of relief, and quickly gave the recipe to Tan Shahan, who quickly ordered the dishes. After the food arrived, Xiao Wu was a little cautious at first, but soon started to gobble it up. However, he realized it immediately, raised his head, and said to Zhang Chen and the others with some embarrassment, "The food here is so delicious, the food on the farm and on the train." "It doesn't matter, Xiao Wu, we are all family members, just feel free to eat," Zhang Chen said quickly. Lu Ligan and Tan Shahan kept nodding. Xiao Wu said thank you and started eating again. He was a little polite at first, but after a while, he became ravenous again. When he realized it, he looked up at the other 3, and they all looked at him with a smile. Xiao Wu said, "There is no way. On the farm, you have time to eat. If you don't eat quickly, it won't work. No one limits you here," Xiao Wu. Tan Shahan said, "You can eat as long as you want." Zhang Chen and the other 3 looked at Xiao Wu with smiles on their faces, but a little sad in their hearts. After eating, he returned to Zhang Chen's office. Zhang Chen went to Zhao Jingjing's place next door and took a bag of money. He gave it to Xiao Wu when he came back. Xiao Wu refused to take it. Lu Ligan said, "Take it, Xiao Wu, when we go home, what can we do without money? Don't lose face in front of the villagers. We have to earn this face. If we can, we will have a feast." Tan Shahan also said, "Take it, Xiao, brother Zhang Chen, the most important thing you need now is money. Don't feel embarrassed. When you come back, it is more important than anything else." Zhang Chen nodded. Xiao Wu then accepted the money and said to Zhang Chen, "Thank you, brother Chen. I also told Lu Ligan and Tan Shahan, thank you brother Ganzi, thank you sister Zhen." Zhang Chen called Xiao Sheng and asked him to take Xiao Wu back to Yongcheng. The 3 of them went downstairs to see Xiao Wu off. Back upstairs, Zhang Chen called Su Qiaxin and asked her to see if she could free up a house. "Come," Lu Ligan and Tan Shahan knew this was prepared for Xiao Wu. Lu Ligan shouted, "Why bother? I already have an empty room in my house, so Xiao Wu and I can live there." Zhang Chen originally wanted to ask, "Is it convenient for Xiao Wu to live with you, so that it doesn't hinder your dream of mandarin ducks and butterflies?" But with Tan Shahan nearby, it was hard for Zhang Chen to say, so he could only ask, "Are you sure?" "What's really uncertain is that we even stayed in the same room in Haikan," Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen and Su Qiaxin said, "Well, you don't have to worry about this. This period of time happened to be when Zhang Xiangbei was most idle and bored. Other students in the class were busy preparing for the high school entrance examination, and even Sun Xiangyang had no time to play with him. The teachers all know that Zhang Xiangbei has been admitted to a high school in the United States and will go to the United States in a few months. If he fails to pass the high school entrance examination, for him, it is just a formality. In Zhang Chen's words, it is just a look. The teachers didn't care about him at all, not even whether he came to class or not, let alone what he did in class, as long as he didn't disturb others. After school every day, the whole class will always be stayed by the teacher of this or that class to make up a first-level class. The first words of all the teachers entering the classroom are, "Zhang Xiangbei, you can finish school now. The other students will stay." Zhang Xiangbei left the classroom under the disappointed ah sounds and envious eyes of his classmates. Xiao Wu returned to Yongcheng for 2 days and then came back. He signed up for a driving training school. He learned driving at the driving school during the day and had nothing to do at night. Even the few courses at the driving school were easy for him as an experienced driver. Xiao knew that Zhang Xiangbei was going to the United States in July. He told Zhang Chen that he should let Xiangbei train with me. We will not bully others when we go out, but we still need to have the ability to protect ourselves from being bullied by others. Otherwise, he is alone in such a far place, even if he is bullied, you are so far away, there is nothing you can do. Zhang Chen smiled and said, he is going to study, who else would bully him in school? Why are there no more? Big fish eat small fish. This is true all over the world. Even in the farm where we have such strict control, we still rely on our fists to speak, Xiao Wu said. Lu Ligan agreed with Xiao Wu's statement. He said, Zhang Chen, have you forgotten the incident of Xiang Nan slapping curly hair? Even in China, when I was in elementary school, such things would still happen. Let alone abroad, he was in the class, he is completely different. Zhang Chen was right when he thought about it. Even if it was for no other reason than just exercising, it would be good. They cleared an open space in the fabric warehouse next door as a training ground. Xiao Wu went downstairs to buy equipment and installed it. From then on, every afternoon, Xiao Wu rode his bicycle to the school gate to wait for Zhang Xiangbei. Then 2 people rode back on a bicycle. After arriving here, they trained for a while, and then the 4 of them had dinner together in Zhang Chen's office. After dinner, they took a rest. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan went about their own business, and Xiao Wu let Zhang Xiangbei to train again. After training, if Zhang Chen is in the office, Zhang Xiangbei will put the bicycle in Zhang Chen's trunk and go back with him. If Zhang Chen is not there, Xiao Wu will still take 1 bicycle per person and take Zhang Xiangbei home. Since training with Xiao Wu, Zhang Xiangbei no longer calls him Uncle Xiao Wu, but Master instead. What surprised Zhang Chen was that Zhang Xiangbei, a person who usually seemed very tired, was very interested when he started practicing. In addition, he had the experience of playing badminton in elementary school, and his body flexibility and coordination were very good. Very good, progressing quickly. Sometimes Zhang Chen went over to watch their training, and he was a little scared. When he saw Zhang Xiangbei on the training ground, he seemed to be a different person, with a fierce look in his eyes. Zhang Chen quietly asked Xiao Wu if Zhang Xiangbei was too murderous and would he cause trouble if he went out. Xiao Wu said no, he was still very measured. When we were training, of course we were required to be murderous, but it was 2 different things when we came down. Xiangbei reminded me of a person. Who? Zhang Chen asked. Yilin, Xiao Wu said, do you remember Yilin? Of course, Zhang Chen said. Yilin is very good now. Xiangbei is the same as Yilin. They are both good and kind-hearted people. They can't do bad things, but they must be able to protect themselves from being harassed by bad people. You also know that bad people are all those who bully the weak, are afraid of the strong. Once they succeed in bullying you, they will want to ride on you for the rest of their lives, Xiao Wu said. You are still in contact with Yilin, what is he doing now? Zhang Chen asked. Xiao Wu smiled and said nothing more. Sometimes Zhang Chen thought that Xiao Wu's words were right, but sometimes he still felt a little scared. He could only use his time to constantly talk to Zhang Xiangbei about the principles of life, especially the principle that people will not offend me and I will not offend others. This Saturday, Tan Shahen will take Xiangnan to the north to watch a movie in the evening. Zhang Xiangbei will not train today. Tan Shahen will take him away in the evening, saying that she will take them to eat Japanese food and then watch a movie. Originally, Zhang Chen and the others were planning to go with them, but Li Yong called and said he was coming, so they changed their plans temporarily and only Tan Shahen and the three of them went. Li Yong arrived at Zhang Chen's office and saw Xiao Wu. He was stunned for a moment and said, This is not Xiao Wu. Zhang Chen said. Yes, Xiao Wu. Why do you look so familiar? Haha, hello, Xiao Wu. Li Yong smiled and stretched out his hand towards Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu shrank back a little, and Lu Lizan shouted from the side. Xiao Wu, if you don't hurry up and hold on, this fat man is no longer Mayor Li, but the dignified Mayor Li of Hangzhou City. Xiao Wu held Li Yong's hand and said, I know, I saw it in the newspaper. Li Yong waved his hand and shouted, What's wrong with the mayor? When we get here, there is no mayor, only friends. Zhang Chen and Lu Lizang sat down and chatted with Li Yong. Li Yong asked Xiao Wu to sit too. Xiao Wu smiled and said that I am still used to standing. Xiao Wu stood aside for a while and then went out. When the food was served from the canteen below, they were about to start eating. Xiao Wu hadn't come back yet. Zhang Chen called Xiao Wu's phone number. The phone rang several times before the call was answered. Zhang Chen asked where Xiao Wu was. I'm outside, Brother Chen, Xiao Wu said. Come back soon, it's time to eat, Zhang Chen said. Xiao Wu hesitated on the phone and said to Zhang Chen, Brother Chen, I won't go back. You guys can eat. I can eat whatever I want outside. Why? Zhang Chen asked. I think, Brother Chen, Li Yong is now the executive deputy mayor, and I am a released prisoner. We had dinner together. If word spread, it might not be good for him. Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment. He really hadn't thought of this. Zhang Chen said, okay. Zhang Chen hung up the phone. Li Yong and Lu Ligan both looked at him. Lu Ligan asked, what did Master Quan Bao say? Zhang Chen told them what Xiao Wu meant on the phone. Lu Ligan sighed and said, this Xiao Wu is still so sensible. That's unreasonable. Li Yong patted the table and said, Zhang Chen, call him again. If the call goes through, I'll come and talk to him. Zhang Chen dialed Xiao Wu's number again and the call went through. Zhang Chen said to Xiao Wu, please wait a moment. Li Yong has something to say to you. Zhang Chen handed the phone to Li Yong, and Li Yong said, Xiao Wu, I'm Li Yong. Come back to me right now and let's have dinner together. If you don't come back, I'll ask my secretary to come tomorrow and take you to my office as a guest. If you make a mistake alone, you'll be fine. Don't feel that you will be inferior to others all your life and that you can't hold your head high. The fact that you were released so many years in advance shows that your performance on the farm is not average. Our party's policy is also to learn from past mistakes and avoid future ones, treat the sick and save the patient. I, Li Yong, will not feel ashamed to have dinner with you. Unless you, Xiao Wu, look down on me, Li Yong, you will come back to me immediately. Did you hear that? I just heard. After listening to Zhang Chen's words, I felt so irritable on my face. How humming powerful the official is, making people afraid to approach him. Thank you Sky 1015, Zonkai 727, Yuzazialiu, the King of White Deer Lane, Book friends 201909172026529888, and Shi Yitan for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1440. Zhang Chen got up very early. He walked to the window and opened the curtains. It was still bright outside. Zhang Chen walked back and sat down on the bedside. On the bedside table, a maroon urn exuded a dim light. The portrait Xiao Zhao looked at him and smiled quietly. Zhang Chen put his hand on the urn and smiled. He said, "Xiao Zhao, let's go back to Hangzhou together. It seems like it was yesterday, but now, we are playing hooligans on the coal pile in the boiler room of the Red Flag Hotel. Zhang Xiangbei is going to the United States. I thought I would be very relaxed about this matter, but when he really wanted to leave, I couldn't sleep last night. I finally fell asleep. Look, I woke up so early again. You said, what's wrong with me? I always tell others that boys just have to be free range. They are like weeds. They can grow wherever they are thrown. More training is good for a boy's growth. But when it comes to this day, the little boy will grow. Zhao, why do I feel like a woman who not only loves her son and daughter, but also loves her mother-in-law and mother-in-law? She keeps explaining the same things, which makes Zhang Xiangbei feel bored. It's really funny to think about it. When I was Zhang Xiangbei's age, I thought Lao Zhang was very verbose, but when I reached this age, Xiao Zhao, I even felt that I was more verbose than Lao Zhang. I know that Zhang Xiangbei went to the United States, and Xiao Fang is taking care of him in the United States. Don't worry. Awen told me that day that there are several children who are really unaccompanied in the United States and usually stay with Americans. At home, Zhang Xiangbei is many times better than them, but I am still very nervous. I don't even know if it was right to agree to Zhang Xiangbei's study in high school in the United States. If you were here, Xiao Zhao, would you agree to his going to the United States to study? Is it really that important not to go to a key high school? If you can't go to a good university, what does it matter? He needs to work hard. His parents have already helped him work hard. Xiao Zhao, are you right? We work so hard and work so hard, mostly for him. He doesn't need to take the money like many people do. Find a job with your diploma. Even if Zhang Xiangbei never went to college, it won't affect his good life. Are you right, Xiao Zhao? What, you don't agree? If you don't speak, you don't agree. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing when you look at me? Okay, I know what you are laughing at. Are you laughing at my thoughts again, like a rich man? If you were here, you would definitely let him go to the United States, right? I knew you would. Xiao Fang doesn't have to go to Yale. She's doing very well in China, but you still want her to go. It's right to think about it. Xiao Fang has been abroad for 2 years. How much has changed? People really need to be knowledgeable. Xiao Zhao, you don't know how powerful Xiao Fang is now. I think I am not afraid of anything. When I arrived in the United States, being led around by Xiao Fang, I felt like a child following an adult, haha. Looking at her calm and composed manner when talking to those people, I didn't believe it. This is still the same Xiao Fang who blushed when talking to people and dared not speak loudly. 4 years at Zhejiang University and 2 years at Yale have really transformed people. It seems that the 4 words education and education are still correct. Also, Xiao Fang always said that I underestimated Zhang Xiangbei, and I was still not convinced. I thought, I don't know my son yet, but it turned out that it was true. What I thought Zhang Xiangbei couldn't do, he did it all, and did it very well. Zhang Xiangbei is going to attend the number 1 high school in New York, which is Hangzhou number 2 middle school. No, no, it's not Hangzhou number 2 middle school, it should be Beijing, that's not right, New York. New York is more like Shanghai. Zhang Xiangbei was admitted to the best high school in Shanghai. Xiaozhao, you don't even dare to think about this, right? Anyway, I didn't even dare to think that Zhang Xiangbei could get into the top 8 high schools in Hangzhou. In this way, Zhang Xiangbei really did the right thing to go to the United States. Changing a place will not only bring no harm to people, but only benefits. If people move living trees and dead trees, just shoot a gun and change places, maybe Zhang Xiangbei will really be able to live in another place. Can achieve final victory. In this way, if Zhang Xiangbei did not take this path, does it mean that he did not realize his potential? If so, will he blame me in the future? Xiaozhao, will you blame me? You just think your son should be the best, right? Xiaozhao, your son is leaving today. If you are reluctant to leave, go to the United States and see Xiao Fang and their home. Zhang Chen took the watch next to the urn and looked at it. He said, okay, Xiaozhao, I won't tell you any more. I want to wash my face and brush my teeth first, and then go over to see if Zhang Xiangbei has gotten up. Zhang Chen stood up and went to the bathroom. After washing up, he changed his clothes and was about to go out. Someone knocked on the door. Zhang Chen quickly walked over and opened the door. Standing at the door was Zhang Xiangbei, neatly dressed. It looked like he had arrived early in the morning. It's ready. So early, Zhang Chen asked, Dad was just about to call you. Dad, I want to say a few words to Mom, Zhang Xiangbei said. Zhang Chen said yes, you go. Zhang Xiangbei walked into Zhang Chen's bedroom and sat in the place where Zhang Chen had just sat in front of him. Zhang Chen walked into the room, turned on the air conditioner, and said to Zhang Xiangbei, it's still early, Zhang Xiangbei, what do you have? If you want to, you can talk to your mother slowly. Zhang Xiangbei said oh. Zhang Chen closed the door when he came out. He went to sit on the sofa in the living room and thought to himself that Xiao Zhao was very busy today. Just after sending me away, his son came again. Zhang Chen thought, laughed, and said proudly, do you think our father and son are so easy to get rid of, Xiao Zhao? Zhang Chen turned on the TV. Chao Wen Tian Xia, which was just launched by CCTV News Channel last month, was already on the air. Zhang Chen started watching it while smoking. After smoking 2 cigarettes, Zhang Xiangbei hadn't come out yet. It was already bright outside, and the balcony was covered with fluffy sunshine. The wind blowing in from the open door was already hot. Zhang Chen took it. I pressed the remote control on the coffee table to turn on the air conditioner, then stood up and prepared to close the balcony door. Zhang Xiangbei! Zhang Xiangbei! There were shouts from downstairs. Zhang Chen walked to the balcony and stretched his head out of the balcony to take a look. He saw Sun Xiangyang, looking up with his head raised. When he saw him, he asked, Uncle, is Zhang Xiangbei here? Here, come up, Zhang Chen said. Zhang Chen walked back into the room and closed the door. Zhang Xiangbei also came out of the bedroom and asked Zhang Chen, is it Sun Xiangyang? Zhang Chen said yes, I asked him to come up. As soon as the two people finished talking, there was a knock on the door. Zhang Xiangbei walked over and opened the door. Sun Xiangyang was panting heavily, with steam rising from his head. Zhang Xiangbei said, let's go down. Sun Xiangyang put his hands on his hips and glared at Zhang Xiangbei, his belly heaving up and down, and he said out of breath, if I had known this, why would I have come up here? Zhang Chen and Zhang Xiangbei laughed. The school is out for summer vacation, and Sun Xiangyang is going to see Zhang Xiangbei off at Pudong Airport together. Although it was already summer vacation in the United States and it was still early to start school, Xiaofang said that she had signed up Zhang Xiangbei for a summer camp so that Zhang Xiangbei could interact with American children earlier. The most important thing was, adapt to the English environment in advance, otherwise, she is worried that Zhang Xiangbei's hearing will not be able to keep up after school starts. The three of them went downstairs and walked to Zhang Chen's parents' place. Xiaoshu and Yao Fen also arrived. They and the four old people had even finished breakfast and were waiting for them. The three of them hurriedly sat down to eat breakfast. While having breakfast, Xiao Sheng called Zhang Chen and told Zhang Chen that he had arrived at the parking lot at the door. "Have you had breakfast?" Zhang Chen asked. "Already eaten," Xiao Sheng said. "Okay, we'll come out right away," Zhang Chen said. The three of them had finished their breakfast, and Xiao Zhao's mother was about to clean it up. Zhang Chen's mother shouted, "Never mind it, we'll talk about it when we get back, just leave them here." Although Xiaofang repeatedly called them and told them to bring as few things as possible and to buy whatever was missing when they arrived in the United States, Zhang Chen saw that four elderly people, especially Grandma and Grandma, still prepared two very large items for Zhang Xiangbei. The big suitcase was full of stuff. Zhang Chen asked, "Why are there so many things? Bai Bei is a human being, not a kitten or puppy. People don't need so many things." Zhang Chen's mother rolled her eyes at him and said angrily. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "No, his room has been prepared by Xiaofang for him. The food, sleeping, and food are already made. He just needs to bring a few sets of clothes that he needs to change recently. If he needs to add more, Xiaofang, I'll buy it for him too. Why does he have so many things to bring?" "Don't worry about it, he needs it anyway," Zhang Chen's mother said. Lao Zhang said at the side, "I have said it before. The Red Army marched for 25,000 miles, and each person only had one bedroll. Why do you need to bring so many things to read a book? You also said that if you could bring it, you would be happy to bring all the vegetables and eggplants you grow to the United States. Tell me, you asked Xiaofang if you could bring these fresh vegetables on the plane. How many times did you ask Xiaofang?" Zhang Chen's mother said sarcastically. Lao Zhang smiled awkwardly, and Zhang Chen's mother continued to scold. "Keep your mouth shut. The Red Army marched for 25,000 miles. The Red Army also ate grass roots and leather belts during the long march. Why didn't you eat it? Do you want to eat it? If you want to eat it, there are still 2 belts left. I will cook them for you tomorrow. Eat." Zhang Xiangbei and Sun Xiangyang laughed. Zhang Chen heard that his mother was a little angry today. After thinking about it, he realized that it was because Zhang Xiangbei was leaving. Zhang Chen quickly said, "Okay, let's go, Zhang Xiangbei, what Grandma and Grandma brought for you must be good things, right? I just..." Zhang Xiangbei was about to say "I don't want it," but when he saw Zhang Chen winking at him, he quickly shut up. "Let's go, Xiaoshu, let's go," Zhang Chen said to Xiaoshu. Xiaoshu and Zhang Chen each pulled up a large suitcase and walked outside. A large group of people came outside and saw Chu Tianlin already in Xiao Sheng's van. She also came to see off Zhang Xiangbei. This person here, a large number of people got on the bus and it was filled immediately. Zhang Chen asked Xiao Sheng, "How are Xiao Wu and the others?" "They have already set off and are waiting for us at the highway intersection," Xiao Sheng said. Another van was driven by Xiao Wu. In it were Lu Ligan, Tan Shahan, Sister Gihua, Xiang Nan, Zhou Ruyi, and Zheng Xingxin. They were on summer vacation. These 3 best friends in junior high school were together again. Xiao Sheng drove to the entrance of Gentian West Road Ring Expressway and saw Xiao Wu's car parked here. Xiao Sheng drove the car in front of it and stopped, opened the door. Xiao Shu and Yao Fen got out of the car, and went to in that car. The seats in this car can be more spacious and everyone can sit more comfortably. Thank you Win Sanliu and Yuengzi for your tips. Thank you Win Sanliu, Zhou Suihua, Daos Hung 123, Humor Tribe, Guziao Kyokiu, Ba Liang, Yuengzi, Qianqi and Dad, gradually enlarged pupils, book friends 202002191602284114, Lao Zi, Void Broken Dreams, Tianying 1978, Haining Auto Parts, Niu Huabapo monthly tickets for Chuan Chuan, book friends 201701130912185553, LCS0001, and book friends 202009031727593111. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1441. The two cars restarted and hit the road at high speed, directly to the T1 terminal of Shanghai Pudong International Airport. The people in the two cars got off the car. Xiao Sheng wanted to get the luggage cart from the door. Zhang Chen quickly said, "Just 2 boxes, no luggage cart is needed." Zhang Xiangbei, come here and push yourself. Xiaoshu came from the front and wanted to help Zhang Xiangbei pull the suitcase. Zhang Chen said no, he got off the plane and had to pull it out of the airport by himself. Sun Xiangyang, don't help him. Let him pull it by himself. Get used to it. Zhang Xiangbei carried a backpack on his back and dragged a suitcase with one hand, and everyone walked toward the departure hall together. Xiao Sheng and Xiao Wu drove their cars to the parking lot to park their cars. Zhang Chen and the others entered the waiting hall and saw Erhuo's family of 3 already waiting here. Erhuo shouted when he saw Zhang Xiangbei. "Zhang Xiangbei, you are treated so well. There are so many people giving you one person, and there are 2 such big boxes. You are so stylish. Come on, stand at attention quickly. Stand up straight." Zhang Xiangbei didn't know what the frog uncle was going to do, but he still stood at attention. The second-rate guy said to Sun Xiangyang, "Fat man is accompanying me, and you should also stand up. Each person has a suitcase. Get ready." Sun Xiangyang was standing next to Zhang Xiangbei, holding the handle of a suitcase with one hand. Both of them were staring at the second guy. The second guy said, "Start, let's walk together," and suddenly the drums sounded in his mouth. It was like a military band, so lifelike that it startled everyone nearby. Zhang Chen and the others laughed, and the 3 girls burst into laughter. Lu Ligan shouted, "That's right, second S order, stay in Songjiang, your team has expanded again." Everyone laughed even more. Ergo's military music suddenly stopped. He saw Xiao Wu and Xiao Sheng parked their cars and came over. Ergo shouted, "Xiao Wu." This is the first time that Erhuo has seen Xiao Wu since he was released from prison. He walked up to Xiao Wu and stretched out his hand to deliver a straight punch. Xiao Wu had quick eyes and quick hands. He raised his right hand and grabbed the second-rate guy's fist. Everyone laughed again, but the second-rate son burst into tears. He thought his father was fighting with someone, and his hand was grabbed by others, and he was going to suffer. The second-rate wife quickly hugged her son. When he got up, the second-rate guy immediately said to his son, Son, we are joking. You see, Dad and this uncle are good friends." As he spoke, Erkuo put his arm around Xiao Wu's shoulders. Xiao Wu said, "Erkuo, you have made such a small enemy for me. How can I live my life peacefully?" Everyone laughed. The second-hand son stopped crying when he heard what the second-hand son said. Lu Ligan asked, "Boss, do you often fight in Songjiang, which makes your son so sensitive?" "I don't dare. The instructor will scold me to death if he knows," the second-hand guy said. His wife also shook her head and said, "Really not." This large group of people arrived outside the isolation zone in front of the check-in desk. The others were standing there. Xiang Nan accompanied Zhang Xiangbei into the queue. The 2 of them each pushed a suitcase and followed the queue forward. "Move slowly." There were so many adults standing there, watching the 2 children moving in the team, and half of the team were foreigners. I felt an indescribable feeling in my heart. I felt that the scene seemed to be somewhat different from my daily life. Lu Ligan asked Zhang Chen, do you feel like the wind is rustling and the water is cold? Before Zhang Chen could say anything, Lao Zhang scolded, nonsense. Don't talk nonsense. That is a poem about Jingke. Our family belongs to Jingke. Is he going to assassinate the President of the United States? Hey, uncle, do you even know this? Lu Ligan shouted. The wind is rustling, the water is cold, and the heroes are gone and never come back. How could I not know that during the period of criticizing the law and criticizing Confucianism, criticizing Lin Biao Confucius, these things were talked about every day? What about Qin Shi Huang, Xiao Zhenmao? Shang Yang's reform, Lao Zhang said. Even I know, Zhang Chen's mother said, the factory has a propaganda team to tell stories every day. This Jingke is a big bad guy, and the instigator of the criminal Prince Dan is a remnant of feudalism. Our family in the north is not like this. He will be like them. Our Bai Bei is almost the same as Qin Shi Huang. By the way, Qin Shi Huang was as big as our Bai Bei at that time, but too small. Did you see him like this? Zhang Chen's mother made a gesture of pulling the sword out of the scabbard and explained. Qin Shi Huang was too small, and the sword was too long. He couldn't pull out the sword like this. Guess what he did? He moved the sword behind his back, stretched his right hand from the top of his head to behind his back, and brushed the sword from behind. It was pulled out in one go. As Zhang Chen's mother said, everyone laughed, and Lu Ligan shouted, Auntie, do you even know this? It's completely live broadcast. Go home and ask your mother. Your mother also knows. She hears the same story several times a month. Every publicity team comes and tells the same story. Even the bench has memorized it. Zhang Chen's mother said, and everyone laughed. Tan Shahen looked at Lu Ligan and smiled, there's no way to do it, right? There is nothing wrong with this. This is just a legend about the king made up by someone, Lu Li said unconvinced, and he pulled out the sword from behind like this. Jingke stabbed the king of Qin by offering Fan Yuqi's head, and the name of the map of Hebei is close to that of Qin Shi Huang. Qin Shi Huang received him in the court hall. When Qin Shi Huang went to court, he had a crown on his head. What, Pole, what do you think the hat on Qin Shi Huang's head is called? Lao Zhang asked. Qi Mian, Lu Ligan said. What about that board on the top? There are whiskers on the front and back, Lao Zhang asked. The board on the top is called the bamboo board. The bamboo board is 2 feet 4 long and 1 foot 2 wide. According to the current size, it is about 20 by 50 centimeters. There are also 12 strings of jade beads on the front and back. This is called qi. With such a thing on your head, can your hand reach behind your back? You just pulled out the sword, and even after he pulled it out, he cut off his own head. Lu Ligan said. Lao Zhang gestured with his hands, he nodded and said, it makes sense, his hands really can't reach behind his back. What's the point? It's just a hat. When you raise your hand like this, the hat flies off. Zhang Chen's mother was not convinced, she said. Lu Ligan laughed, Auntie, Qin Shi Huang is the emperor. Not to mention that it is impossible for the hat to fall off so easily. Even if it is a little crooked, it will be considered an ominous sign at the time and will affect the safety of the country. Then it grows on the head. Zhang Chen's mother was also curious and asked. Lu Lizan nodded, it's really similar to a long head. Under the board, on both sides of the crown, there is a symmetrical hole. A jade hairpin goes through it, connecting the crown and the bun inside. On the side of the hosta, there is a red ribbon, also called zuying. When wearing the crown, the red ribbon is looped around the chin, and then tied tightly on the other side of the hosta, so that the hat is fastened to the head. Zhang Chen's mother nodded, it won't fall down. It will definitely not fall off, Lu Ligan said. In the past, the emperor's clothes were not worn by himself. Someone was responsible for dressing him every day. If there was any sloppiness, such as the bun was not tightened, the hosta was loose, or the ribbon was not tied tightly, as a result, the hat I mentioned suddenly tilted, causing the emperor to lose his dignity in front of the ministers. This man is going to be beheaded, who dares to be careless? Okay, you're right, Jiang Chen's mother said. Also, Auntie, Qin Shi Huang was not as old as Zhang Xiangbei at that time. Jing Ke assassinated King Qin in 227 BC. He was already 32 years old at that time, Lu Ligan said. Is it true? After telling it for a long time, that story is all false, Jiang Chen's mother shouted. They also said that Qin Shi Huang was only 14 or 15 years old at that time. Which one of you or those people is telling the truth? Of course what I said is true, Lu Ligan smiled. Pole, let me ask you, why is there such a board on the top? Which is the board you mentioned? What is that board made of? Lao Zhang asked. Everyone gathered around to listen, and they were also very curious. Some wanted to know what the hat on Qin Shi Huang's head was, and some wanted to see if these two old men would knock Lu Ligan down. It's made of paulownia wood, Lu Ligan said. This board, including everything on the entire crown, is exquisite. This board is painted black, which means solemnity. The front and back of the board are round, which means when the sky is round, there are 2 strings of jade beads on the front and back of the board. When they are hung down, they just block the sight of the eyes. This is called turning a blind eye, which means that the emperor should not look at it. Things you shouldn't look at. There is a red ribbon on one side of the hosta, and there is a piece of beautiful jade hanging on each side of the ear, which is called deaf. It is to help the emperor block slander, and also reminds the emperor not to listen to slander. The word deaf is what it means. Come. Okay, I also believe what the Pole said is true, Lao Zhang said. At that time, we asked the storytellers why Qin Shi Huang had such a cutting board on his hat, and they couldn't tell any of them. Jiang Chen looked at Lu Ligan and said suspiciously, how do you know about such a thin thing? Lu Ligan rolled his eyes at him. Do you think I am ignorant? When I study hard, I am also a good young man. Fart, Jiang Chen cursed. No, you're wrong to say that, Chen, what the Pole said is still right. It has solved the mystery of Qin Shi Huang wearing a cutting board on his head that has puzzled me for so many years, Lao Zhang said. Everyone laughed, and they were so absorbed in listening that they didn't realize that Xiangnan Xiangbei had completed the check-in formalities and returned. They didn't wake up until Tan Shahan asked them, are you ready? Xiangnan nodded and agreed, but it was too risky. What's wrong? Jiang Chen's mother said quickly. The luggage was over 3 kilograms, but that aunt saw that Zhang Xiangbei was a child, so she let it go, Xiangnan said. She thinks that we are both children, so forget it, Zhang Xiangbei added. Jiang Chen's mother breathed a sigh of relief. She patted her chest and said, I was shocked. I thought something big had happened.